Hello friends, welcome back to Study IT Express. Today we will learn about the joins and the types of joins. So this is session 24. Welcome back. And then we can get started, right? So if I ask you this question, what does the join mean, right? Very simple. Or you know, what if you say literal meaning? What is a join, right? Join is basically joining the two ends, right? If you see, it is joining the two ends, right? Now, what does this mean? Suppose if this is the piece of land, right? And this is the piece of land, and there is a river which is flowing between the two pieces of land, right? Now, how will you join these two? By creating a bridge. If you see, you will create a bridge. For creating a bridge also, what you want basically is you want the common area between the two. For example, if suppose if I take example here, this is kind of marshy lands. Marshy land means the land is very unstable, right? But this is a very good land, right? Which is the place like which is very strong and all, and it is good for making the bridge. Will you be able to make the bridge between these two? No point of guessing. The answer is no, right? So basically what you want is you want the land to be of the common ground, which means it should be able to hold the weight of the bridge, right? So this is what is join. Join basically joining between the two ends, right? Now let's take an example of our favorite thing which we are tables which we are doing as of now. If I take an example over here, we learn about the data architecture, right? So if you remember the data architecture of architecture, what we are doing as of now. If you see, there's a department table, right? And this is having the department ID, right? And then department name, and then at the end it is HOD ID. Fine. This is a department table. Okay. Now, if you see, the same thing is for HOD table. And if you see over here, there is HOD ID. Okay. And then there's HOD name, and then department ID. Okay. This is another table. Okay. If I go down little bit more, pardon me. Okay. Now if I take a teacher table, okay, here it is having teacher ID, okay, and then teacher name, and then last one is your department ID. And in the last one, I'll say student table, right? In this one, if you see, here is student ID, then there is student name, and then last one is department ID. Now if you see, right, this is the original the data architecture which we are still studying, right? And I'm just trying to show you why we need join. Look here, the department ID here, it is a primary key as I have told you before here, right? This is HOD ID, here it is a primary key, teacher ID is a primary key, okay, and here student ID is a primary key. Now what happens is, if you see HOD ID is here also, right? These both are same, right? So this is the foreign key over here. Here department ID, right? Department ID is the foreign key over here. Okay, and here if you see department ID, this is the foreign key over here. And here if you see department ID, this is the foreign key over here. Sorry about that, but yeah, foreign key. Now if you see, right, what is the common ground between the department and HOD table? If you see, the common ground between them is department ID. You see here, right? Now teacher and department, this is the common ground, okay? And then department, here if you see department and this one is the, right? And then if you see student ID, right, correct. So if you see over here, what happens is, this is the common join which we have to do. So why do we actually need join, right? Have you ever thought why we have classified these table into different keys, right? Into, or why we have classified all this data, right? Why all the data is classified in different tables, in different table. Why, right? So there is a concept which I have already told you called normalization. Normalization, right? Normalization simply means that we have to normalize the data. The data, if we put everything into one table, just for an example over here, right? If I take an example of a HOD ID, right? Let's take an example of a big table, right? One table, okay? One table which is having HOD name, okay? And then department name, okay? And then just for an example, and then we have the teacher name, and then student name, okay? Student name. Now HOD name, as we have already discussed, right? Suppose it is Vivek, okay? Department name is computer science, teacher name is Mohan, right? Student name is um, Celia, just for an example. Now suppose in computer science there are 50 students, right? So you will have 50 times computer science, right? And 50 times, and teacher, suppose in computer science, this is the department, like computer Mohan is teaching and then Ramesh is teaching, right? So you have 50 times this thing and 50 students here, right? And then for example, the next HOD is let me take here, next HOD is Raman, maybe, Raman, for example, Raman, okay? And then he is from civil engineering, right? And they have 100 students, so it will be like this. Don't you think this will become very cumbersome, very dirty, right? Now example, if suppose Vivek left the organization, and or Raman is being replaced by Vivek and Vivek is being replaced by Raman. So what you have to do, you have to do update where HOD name is Vivek, everything will come over here as a Raman, and then Raman is like Vivek. So this is very, very, very dirty way of storing the data. Okay. The best way is organize them into the uh, small tables, so that if suppose the HOD is also changed, you just have to change the HOD name over here, HOD ID, HOD name, and automatically everything will be linked properly, right? So that's a reason of join. Join is one of the beautiful thing of SQL, in which you store the data into different silos, and but then also it is giving you exact data what you need. It is just like a army base, right? That army different like, you know, you don't put all the army in one place. God forbidden, if you know, if missile attacks happen, all whole of your army goes, you know, dies, right? It doesn't help you in that way, right? So you make small places, and you keep the army people in different places, right? I hope that is clear. If not, let me know in the comments. I will be more than happy to tell you again the concept. I'll again make one more video, but this is very important join thing which you have to learn. Okay. Now there are different types of joins. Different types of joins. Okay. Number one, A is inner join. Number two is left outer join. Number three is right outer join. Number fourth is full outer join. And number fifth is cross join. And number sixth is self join. Okay. Now we will see what is inner join. Inner join. Inner join. Inner join is basically, this is the most simple join, right? Probably the most simple join. One second, let me, yeah. Probably the most simple join. Okay. In which, and is commonly used also. And it is commonly used. Commonly used. Okay. So what does it do is commonly used. So basically what will happen is it will basically join the common data which is present in both the tables. Okay. Now let's see the syntax of it, and we will see the we will see the practical example also for this. Syntax for inner join. Select column names from table name 1. Inner join, or you can say simply join, whatever you want to say. Inner join table name 2. on table underscore name 1 dot column name. Table equal to table, this is equal to table name 2 dot column name, right? Now always remember this thing, that you don't have to write this one in different in separate lines. Okay, why I do this one? To make the life easy, because what happens is, in the real term, when you are coding and when you're trying to debug the problem, what will happen is, if the code is not clear, believe me, it will give you a very hard time, guys. And I'm telling you from my experience, the more you write the code in different line, of course logically, the more it will easy for you, right? For example, somebody says, look, it should not be inner join, it should be left join. For example, I'll just make it up, right? You just have to see, oh, okay, this is an inner join. Let's convert it into outer join, your full outer join or left outer join, whatever it is. Very simple, right? So this is what is there. Now let's see the practical example of this. What we will do is, we will see the let me open this one. We will see the teacher as well as department. Okay, so let me do this thing. Okay, let me open a new SQL, or I can show it here itself. That's fine. I think that is fine. Okay, select star college.department. Okay, and run it. Okay, these many departments are there. Okay, now if you see here, I have intentionally put for artificial intelligence, there is no HOD ID. Okay, now let's take the HOD, college.HOD. From college.HOD. Okay, now I put it over here. Look, here is everything. Okay, now my question is, tell me the name of HODs of all the departments, right? As simple as that, right? So if you see, if you take it over here, right, college.department is there, right? If you see over here, all these are the departments. Okay, and if you see over here HOD, you will see over here that they are telling which department is there. So what is the link between these two? Let's see. If you see, this is the department table, this is the HOD table. What is common between these two? Department underscore ID and department underscore ID, right? So what you will do, you will make the common between these two. Let's see how it will work. What I will do, I will say select what all is there. I want to know HOD name, right? HOD underscore name, and why this is showing as this thing, you have to put the semicolon. Okay, comma, department ID. You see over here, department ID. Okay, okay, engineering, yeah, or I can say department ID. ID, okay, as well as HOD ID. Okay, never mind. I will tell you later. From college.hod, inner join college.department on HOD.department ID dot department ID equal to department dot engie engineering department underscore ID, right? Let's see what will happen on this one. Let's see. If you run it, why it's not running? Okay, there is some problem. Department ID field is ambiguous. Okay, perfect. This is what I wanted to show you. Look here. This is department ID, right? And if you see here also, this is the department, right? This table, if you see, this is the department, right? This is the department ID. Okay. Look here. This is the department ID. Now let's see HOD. Okay. This is also having department ID. What it told you, it's ambiguous. Ambiguous means simply means SQL is not able to justify which table's column name, which is department ID, it has to take. Okay, so what you can do, you can say department ID, for example, right? Department ID. Okay, department, one second, department ID. And one more thing, you see, I made it over here department ID, which is wrong. Okay, but I will show you this thing, what will happen. Now I have removed this ambiguity. Okay, now let's see what will happen. It will throw an error. Unknown column engineering department ID is on the on clause. Why? Because if you see this one, department, it is having department name. Okay, now if I put a name, again it will throw an error. I'll show you. It may throw, it may not throw it. Sorry, it may not throw an error. Look here, I'll show you something. Look here, it is blank. You know the reason? Reason being is, if you see, if I would have put the department ID, which is common between the department table and HOD table, okay, then it would have worked. Okay, so what I have to do is I have to swipe it. Control X, just make it over here this thing, and from here I'll remove this department engineering department name. Excuse me. Okay, now if you run it, look here, everything came. One thing to notice, it was having artificial intelligence also. Look, artificial intelligence. And if you see, okay, let me take a screenshot of this so that you can understand what I'm trying to tell. Snipping. Okay, let me take an example of this. If you see here for college.department, or yeah, okay, no, never mind. If I take an example and if I run this thing only, and let me make it big so that everything is here, and let me take a snipping tool so that I can show you what I'm trying to tell. Okay, so if you see here, you are not able to see the artificial intelligence. Now here if you see, it is having the artificial intelligence in the end. Here if you see, there is no artificial intelligence. Look here, right? So which simply means is, if you see over here, there's no artificial intelligence. See here, what I'm trying to tell you here is, guys, right, that inner join always work for the data which is common between the two. HOD, ID, all these, right, if you see, these are over here. That's why it is showing everything like computer science, mechanical, electronics, right, information technology, telecommunication, civil, chemical, right, all these are over here. Okay, but artificial intelligence is not there. So this on basically means what is the common ground on which you have to place it. Fair enough. Now if you see here, right, HOD name is like, it's big, so we introduce one more thing, concept of alias. I can make it as a, right, as a, and this one, sorry, here I will say a, and here I will say b, and what I will say, a dot HOD ID, right, and b dot department, this thing, right, b instead of department I'll just say b dot in this one, and here I'll say a dot, and here I will say b dot. And if you see over here, if you run this one, look here, same answer. So this is called alias. Okay, fair enough. Now in next class we will learn about left outer join, right outer join, and full outer join. Okay, thank you guys, thanks a lot, take care, bye bye.